Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen.
My son is 5 and I'm at a loss on how to change a particular behavior. He bangs his right hand on tables constantly and also claps his hands very hard. They sound like clap toys. It literally hurts my ears. The function is automatic. I've tried to replace the banging on the table with giving him bongs to bang on, and he will only use it for a few seconds, then goes right back to banging the table. Even worse than that is the clapping. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do, and I'm going crazy. I'm so overwhelmed with all the noise and the pitch of the noise. I know automatic function is and then I think it goes back to the top. Hang on. But they know that it's automatic function. I don't know how they know it's automatic function. Hard as a behavior to change. Any ideas? And thank you so much.
So that's it's very hard to deal with something that has an automatic function, but what that actually means for the rest of our viewers is that by doing it, the individual receives reinforcement just in the act of performing that behavior. So the behavior itself is in some way maintaining itself because it is somehow rewarding. So the question I have for this parent is, when you say that it's automatic, what is the source of reinforcement for the child? Is the child actually enjoying the sound that he hears when he does this, or is he enjoying the feeling on his hand when he does this? And that would be kind of important to identify, because your treatment is to replace it with something of a similar function, right? So if it's something that has to do with the feeling of clapping or touching the table, then giving him and I see the parent wrote, I think both. Yeah, so we can't think about these things. We kind of have to figure it out. And what you need to do is rule one out and then rule the other out. So, can you give him, let's say, let's get rid of that, whatever reinforcer it is. So what happens if he has gloves on for a whole, like if you put any kind of gloves on and he's not able to feel it or make that noise again, will he continue doing it? Will he try to get the gloves up? Then we'll know. The other thing is, what if he has noise canceling headphones on? Will he continue to do this? It's sort of important to find out if it is a sound thing, then you might be able to replace it with some other type of sound thing. For instance, you might be able to put him on a schedule where he is allowed to listen to particular music when he does that. So I see the mom has written, he won't clap with gloves on. So we're talking about something that might have something to do with texture rather than sound. So replacing it with bongos is not really going to do it, because he wants the feeling, he wants the sensation, possibly. And if he wants the sensation, then I think you're going to have to work on getting him under a schedule where things that produce a physical sensation, similar physical sensation, are allowed at certain intervals of the day. See if, for example, if he washes his hands, and try to find something functional. So if he washes his hands, does it help? Does it help him actually reduce this behavior? If he plays with a Play-Doh, does that help reduce this behavior? These are the types of things where I would really recommend that you have a team. If you can, get a behavior analyst, because what you want to try to do is do it right. So you want to get data. First, you want to show like how frequently is he actually clapping or hitting the table, and what's the intensity and what's the duration, like what's the rate, how many times a day, and how long will it go when he starts, right? And then what you do is you try these different things that I suggested. Once you've identified, first you identify, is it a sensation type of automatic reinforcement, or is it an auditory type of automatic reinforcement? And certainly it could be both, but let's assume it's one or the other first. And then you try these things, right? You try, for instance, the washing of hands. If I have him wash hands on a schedule of every 20 minutes, does the other thing go down? If I have him, let's say, put lotion on, does this affect it? If I have him have Play-Doh, have access to Play-Doh every 20 minutes or every 30 minutes for a period of a minute, does that affect the other thing? So you're going to try these interventions, but you need to be tracking the clapping to see if it has actually gone down or not.
I always think it's interesting, sensory issues, and how we all tend to think that it's just people on the autism spectrum. And yet, you guys know every year we do a toy guide, and normally it's about this time of the year when we start getting toys in that people want us to consider for the toy guide. And I will put all the hand sensory toys on my desk. And I will just play with them throughout the day. But people would come before COVID, people would come into my office, and I was always fascinated to see who picked up what toy, how did they play with it, when did they use it when they were talking. But I think that we are people who really like that sensation. Some people like the squishy stuff where you could stretch it. Some people like the feeling of like couches that were just, bouncy and soft in their hands. Other people liked things that you could manipulate. I mean, I don't think it's all that unusual that a child would want to do something with their hands. I see adults not on the spectrum that if it's there and available, they will do it. And if the table is available and that feels good, I just always like to remind us that sometimes the things that we look at and we think are weird are not all that weird.
That's
right?
so true. Well, 100%, absolutely right. I mean, if you think about all the different things that we play with during the day, or those types of absolutely, everything is on a continuum, Shannon. And that's what I always say. It's completely fine to do all of these things. We don't want to label any of these or judge them. It only becomes a problem if it prevents you from all the other things in life.
Well, and it's clearly sensory driving the caregiver crazy, and that I can, I'm wanting to send a hug. Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.